we've got an issue. That is an issue. That water came under the door sill during the recent rain. I'm really glad we had all this drywall set up on boards. I think it may have gotten the board wet. I'm hoping it didn't damage the drywall. We'll see. But this was actually an issue that we were a little bit worried about when we bought the house. The previous owner said that they had not had any water intrusion in the basement since they put the sump pump in the garage. But I think they may not have known that it was probably still happening. So here's the issue. So outside of that door, there's this walkway, concrete walkway, and it does not angle away from the house. In fact, it angles towards that curb, and that's angled towards the corner. So as the water pools, it wants to go right here. And that's actually under the sill of that door. You can see where they've tried to seal it before with some sort of silicone or caulk. In fact, this whole area was a concern when we bought the house. Now that I've ripped out the asphalt driveway, the water level stays below the lip of the garage. Looks like right here it pooled up, probably where the rain was hitting the garage door itself, because this actually has a bit of a V to it. There's a low spot right there. That I don't think is too much of an issue. There's a lot of ways I can address that. I could just take a concrete saw and make a tiny little trench all the way over here to the sump pump. I don't really like that it slopes into a valley right here though, so I'll probably chip out all that concrete eventually and have it slope away from the house. We've talked about this driveway before. It bothers me every time I see it. I'm actually entertaining the idea of ripping out that concrete slab because it's in poor shape and I don't like how it's angled. Putting in a French drain that goes right in front of that door and maybe all the way along in front of both these garage doors, and having it hook up to heavy gauge PVC pipe that runs a third of the way, maybe halfway down the driveway, and then just putting a nice concrete skirt on the driveway right here about halfway down. So when we have the concrete truck out here, we can re-pour this so it's all continuous with the new driveway, or maybe it's a step up, but it'll look nice being newly finished, fresh with the driveway having it all sloped right. Then we hopefully won't have any water intrusion into the garage or into the house through that door. We can't finish out the basement with it being like that, that's for sure. Since I saw that water issue under the door, I decided to walk around the basement and just see if the recent rain had brought any other water intrusion. I want to be checking this every time it rains for the next several months before we put a nice floor down here. Over here, I found a little bit of water. And that's about the extent of it. Right there. It doesn't go very far back. Maybe another foot or so. And I don't see any on the other side of this wall. And I didn't see any wet evidence of the wall recently being wet all the way up. My theory is that it's actually coming from right there, right where the foundation meets the slab. My concern is that that means the outside of the foundation isn't sealed properly. One of the last things I want to do is dig the foundation out in front of the house there. But again, a known issue we had is that they did not drain the water away from the front of the house properly. So I'll probably end up putting a corrugated pipe all the way around the front side of the house along the foundation, and hopefully that'll keep that ground from being so wet. I'll also try this. It's called hydraulic cement leak stopper. Picked it up at the local hardware store. I've never used it, but I've watched a few vlogs of people who have used it in their projects, and it seems to come with a good reputation. You can use it on things like this, where that hole is through the foundation, where the pipe comes through. It sets up quickly, and it expands as it sets up. And they call it hydraulic because it's supposed to be forcing that fluid away from the area. So I'm thinking I'll put it along that foundation over there, try to pack it in there really good, and also put the corrugated drain under the ground in front of the house, and hopefully that'll stop the issue. Over here, I think the long-term solution, like I mentioned, would be to put a French drain outside, like with a grate over top of it, so you just step kind of across a gap in the new slab out there where the water can drain out. But for the meantime, I think I'd like to just remove all that silicone that they slathered on that area and pack it with that hydraulic cement. Hopefully that'll get us by until we're moved in and I can really tackle some of these projects more consistently. So that's my plan. I'll show you how the cement goes on when I'm ready to do it, and hopefully we can keep this place dry and ready for nice finished walls and flooring down here.